side.
Welcome back everyone. This is going to be my updated AlphaBridge building guide. I made a quick video about this, not really talking about it, just showing you the gear that was in the first days of the 1.4. But now I have upgraded it a lot, especially with the armor, and it looks like this. So this is the end game that I'm currently at. I mean, the pieces could still use some improving, but not a lot. I believe this is probably like the last video I'll do about this AlphaBridge SMG build because it's just as good as it gets. This is what we run. We run a specialized backpack. That's going to give us a lot of skill power. It's going to give us around 25k skill power, and that's a great addition because we want to utilize booster shot as our heal instead of overdose because it's going to give us more resistance. It's going to give us just more heal from our booster shot, and as we use the booster shot we get extra damage and extra resistance. And also running a talent called competent, it really synergizes well with competent talent as well, as it increases the weapon damage after using a skill. So basically we're going to be running a savage gloves as well. Even though they're hardly nerfed in 1.4, they're down to 7% crit chance. Crit chance is still really important for SMGs, and savage is still one of the best DPS talents you can get on a high-end piece. So we're running 4-piece alpha specialized in talents, and then what we're running as what are we using as roles? Well, nothing too special to go with 1.4. Really, there aren't a lot of diversity when it comes to roles on the gear because armor, and armor is all you want to roll. So not much of a choice here. On the chest piece you can have you must have one major attribute rolled as armor. Then you also should bring, like, you should also look for pieces that has high native armor. Like this one has almost 100 more armor than this alpha chest right here, and that's why I'm using it. And also armor roll on it, make sure you get a really high roll. And as a secondary on the chest, it doesn't really matter, but since you're building for PvP, adding health is the best option here, just to get that small bit of extra tankiness on there. So nothing too fancy, but that's basically it. So on the chest piece, as I said, running armor and health. All of our mods are also armor, so it's really important to get armor mods as well. This can go up to 269, I guess. So it's try to get all of your mods up to 260 plus armor. There's a 209, 263 armor mod here. This firearms armor mod you're seeing here, it's on sale in the Dark Zone West 42nd checkpoint, so you might want to check that out if you haven't bought it yet. It's going to be gone until after this week's reset, so make sure you grab one of these mods, actually a couple of them. Anyways, minor attribute, you ideally want to have ammo capacity, but I'm just choosing this piece and sacrificing my ammo capacity to get more armor, because as I said, the first thing you should look out for is armor. Second biggest thing is main stat. The third is the major attribute, and minor attribute is like the last thing to look at when you're choosing a gear piece. But having ammo capacity would be cool. So on the mask you have a couple of choices. You can either go crit chance, or you can go with skill power. And I do play with skill power occasionally, but due to the build I'm running, I could use some extra crit chance, and 4% is not that little. So I'm taking this 4% crit chance on the mask, then also using an armor mod up here as well. The knee pads again should roll armor as high as possible. 2500 plus is always a good roll on knee pads. but don't look at it on the main menu because this shows the values with the armor mods intact. But if you go in here and look here, you'll see the raw armor of the knee pad with the major attribute. So you want to get this up to 25%, 2500 plus. And again, as I said, armor, it can roll up to 1210 here, so try to get a high roll. Then we're using armor mod and a self-heal mod. So this is actually quite important because utilizing the booster shot, you need a lot of self-heal. Specialized backpack, giving us a lot of skill power, that's why it's really good. Again, armor rolled on it and a lot of native armor, so around 2000 armor on the backpack here is quite nice. Also using self-heal mods and armor. Again, nothing different. So gloves. Gloves, Savage with SMG damage, crit damage, and crit chance. The new gloves won't have skill attributes, as you can see here, but the old ones from 1.4 keep their skill attributes. So if you have an old one with a good skill attribute, you can keep that. That would be best in slot. But again, high armor, this around 800 on the gloves are max, so you want to get it around 800. Then high main stats are also quite nice to have. So that's basically that. Then last but not least, the holster. This is a godlike holster that I had in 1.3 with pulse crit damage. So I'm really liking this one, even though the armor is quite low. Actually, you can go up to like 1400. But I'm just using this one because the main stats are really high. But if you are looking for a new piece, try to get the armor up around 1400. But this is basically my holster. So what SMG am I using then? Well, I'm using MP5 ST. Now I would suggest you to use an MP5, but even the differences between MP5s are quite important. Now the MP5 ST that I have here has difference than like the Navy MP5 you see here, because the Navy MP5 cannot equip large scopes. So this can have a really high crit chance. I mean, I can put this reflex sight on this Navy MP5, but if I want to use a 12x scope, and the 12x scope is basically a scope with headshot damage as a major attribute, so it's 18% headshot damage. It's quite decent. Then you can have like crit chance, crit damage, like I have here. So it's like headshot damage, crit chance, crit damage. This is like god roll scope, even though the attributes could be a bit higher. This is like the ideal thing you want to get. You want headshot damage as major, and if you want to use this 12x scope on the MP5, you need to find an MP5 ST. You can't put this on the Navy MP5N version, which means if you choose to go with the Navy MP5, you're going to be looking for a mini reflex sight with the crit chance main. But I think having headshot damage on the scope is a lot more beneficial. As far as talents I'm using for the AlphaBridge setup, I'm using Unforgiving, Brutal, Responsive, Deadly, Vicious, and Competent. Now, ideally, I would swap Responsive and Brutal, and then, Responsive and Deadly, and then roll Deadly to Fierce on the third slot here. But sadly, I don't have that roll yet, so maybe if I find a better MP5 that I can put Fierce in the bottom slot, I would do that. But this is still a pretty good combination of talents. Vicious is pretty godlike, then Competent is for me the best talent in the game, and then obviously Unforgiving, Brutal, and Responsive are also great additions to our arsenal. So this is basically what I'm running. Magazine size, crit chance, and rate of fire on our magazine. Headshot damage, crit chance on the scope. Headshot as the major. On the muzzle we have crit chance, major attribute. Then we're using headshot damage and crit damage. Then the grip is going to be rolling with crit damage, stability, and accuracy. So this is basically it. There is nothing that I've put into this that really gives me any handling. So you just gotta roll with the handling yourself. So you don't want to really put any mods to increase handling, because you really want to increase your damage as possible and just deal with the handling yourself. But this is basically the setup that I'm running. Anyways, Keep in mind that the attribute roles or the percentages of the talents you see here, like 15, these are not affected by the gear score anymore, so you can like use 163, 182, 204 SMGs with the good talents for AlphaBridge that are going to give you the same bonuses but have lesser unlock requirements if you ever um, find yourself in such a situation. So just a heads up there. But anyways, this is the build. So the main idea here is to unlock Brutal and our firearms talents with our firearms, which is at 3873. Then put everything into toughness, because toughness is survivability, and survivability is what's great here. Believe me, because firearms does not scale well at all. Like, I'll give you an example here. I have 13.8 thousand base damage on the MP5 here with 3900 firearms, right? If I go over here, swap my gloves to firearms, that's gonna give me 1000 extra firearms, just 1000 extra firearms, a whole bunch of firearms, and my damage goes up to 14.8k. So it's just a 1000 damage increase. It's not even 10% extra damage. I added 1000 firearms and I haven't even gained 10% extra damage. So it's not worth going for firearms because the damage scaling is not great, the diminishing returns are there, so minimize your firearms and increase your toughness to your fullest. You'll still be doing plenty of damage, and it'll also be really tanky, which you'll find really beneficial as you PvP in Dark Zone. So nothing too special besides these. Talents are Tactical Advance. Combat Medic is one of the talents that I suggest everybody should run. It is one of the best talents in the game, in a group especially. It's a lifesaver, it's a free medkit for each of your members, and it's really great. Also, critical save is always great. Now, it seems like it doesn't proc because there's a visual bug that its icon doesn't appear, but it still works, so no problem here. Tactical Advance when used is crazy good, and then on the move is also really amazing because now people have a lot less health in the down state, so you can actually proc on the move a lot. As our skills, we're using Booster Shot, which is sitting at a 65% humble heal for myself and 55 for the ally, and using Conceal as well, since why not, right? So this is my setup, guys. 261 DPS, 443 toughness, 87,000 skill power. I think it's a pretty decent setup, and if you want to build something like this, this could be your guideline. Aim for these stats and don't look back. As I said, armor is really important. See you on the next video.